Admit it, you're a little bit scared that AI is going to make you sound exactly the same as everybody else. And that's the reason why you're not using AI and optimizing specifically for how to give a talk or how to use AI for your thought leadership. I get it. I have an MFA from the iWriters Workshop, okay? So when it comes to the whole thing of like, can AI mimic us in terms of creativity? It's a hard no for me, okay? But girl, you are missing out on one of the most powerful tools, not to actually write your thought leadership for you, but to make you a stronger thought leader. Hear me out on this. What am I talking about?
This is Madam Speaker Says, where powerhouse women unpack the moment they risked everything in order to build their authority. I'm talking about bold moves. I'm talking about plot twists and the very instant when they stopped asking everybody else for permission and just decided to give themselves permission to step into their own authority. I am Magogodi. I am your host. Girl, I am also your hype woman. And if you are ready to grow from wow, your resume and your background is so amazing, to girl, when can we get started? Then head over to join the conversation and community at madamspeakersays.com and subscribe to our newsletter. Again, that is Madam with an E at the end of madamspeakersays.com. Now, grab your drink, grab your water, class is in session.
Admit it, you're a little bit scared that AI is going to make you sound exactly the same as everybody else. And that's the reason why you're not using AI and optimizing specifically for how to give a talk or how to use AI for your thought leadership. I get it. I have an MFA from the iWriters Workshop, okay? So when it comes to the whole thing of like, can AI mimic us in terms of creativity? It's a hard no for me, okay? But girl, you are missing out on one of the most powerful tools, not to actually write your thought leadership for you, but to make you a stronger thought leader. Hear me out on this. And let me take this off because it's gonna make a whole lot of sounds and we're trying to kiki over here. What am I talking about? I just put in an application for something that is a game changer kind of opportunity, right? And the way that I did it, this is the kincha. I used AI to actually help me, and the way that I asked AI to help me is part of what we're going to get into today. I'm gonna walk you through all of the steps, all of the things that I did to make sure you don't sound like an automaton, because who's trying to be that, right? And to also make sure that you sound sharper than you would have if you were being edited by a huge engine behind you, like the New Yorker. I know what I'm talking about. I have been edited hard. This here puppy, that's my book, okay? And let me tell you something. By the time you get a book like this, between covers, you are, at least if you go through a really remarkable editing process like I did with my publishers, you are edited by at least like 20 different hands, and human beings have touched this thing and verified as it's fiction, but they still fact check it. And I'm here to tell you the process that I lived through today was more rigorous than this. Can you believe that? Okay, what am I talking about? And what are some of the tools that you can use? Number one, and this is probably the most important thing that you can do to preserve the integrity of your voice, but also, like, I want to name it, the fear that you have, it's a real legitimate fear. If you do the thing that is lazy, quite frankly, and also just a little bit laid back of like, okay, Claude, here's what the assignment is, just write a talk for me, you are not only going to give something that is completely rememberable, right? Forgettable. It's going to be completely forgettable. But you need to understand, AI is trained for smoothness. So what this machine is doing is trying to optimize everything, to make your copy, whatever it is that you're talking about, to make the arguments and the logic and the transitions as smooth as possible. So if all you do is just feed it the like, here's exactly what I need, come out with something, yeah, you're going to sound like a fucking corporate talking machine, okay? The way you circumvent that is you own the first draft. Pretend the internet doesn't exist, okay? Pretend the internet doesn't exist, and the first draft is entirely on you. If it like makes it easier for you, do it longhand, right? Like go all the way old school. If you're having writer's block, there's a hack to this. You can just hold up a phone and speak directly and use the transcription. But number one is you want to have a rough draft and bring the rough draft to AI. Specifically, I'm talking about Claude because, you know, like ethics and things like that kind of matter around here. And if you're going to use AI, consider Claude over any of the other competitors out there. At least right now, they look like the people that I'm more comfortable with them having my money. So that's number one. Number two, you need to understand like AI is probably the most beastly editor that you ever could have, but you need to set up that expectation. So the second thing that I said to Claude was, listen, the platitudes, the nice, like I don't need any of that, okay? I need you to take the gloves off. I need you to go harder at me than if I were sitting in workshop at the Iowa Writers Workshop and people really come for your jugular veins. So when I tell you that this was the assignment and Claude really understood it, still gonna be congenial. We're still gonna be like keeping it all like, you know, fresh and professional, but don't hold bars. And also use these exact words, which I use all the time with Claude. I need you to show me my blind spots. Here's the assignment. Where are my blind spots? What am I missing? When you say those particular words to Claude, let me tell you, okay, Claude is going to pick up on things that would probably escape most editors. And this comes to the thing of using Claude as your fact checker, right? Like I said, Claude is a beast. I'm sorry, like machine learning against the most well-funded and also most well-lauded, like if you speak to any writers and you talk about the process of being fact-checked by the New Yorker, it's legendary. I mean, I'm sure people have written entire short stories and essays and all kinds of like sitcoms and come to Jesus moments over how rigorous they are, but they still have nothing on AI. Yeah, I know, I just said it, but it's the truth. And I just lived through that truth, and I need you to use AI in the same way. How does AI fact check you? It's the minutia of how things are worded that you might actually have missed. It's also the actual data, the facts, right? And it's also creating, if you need it for your particular argument or your essay, whatever you're working on, creating the kind of research that, not creating it, but going to find that research that backs whatever it is that you're saying. AI is a beast at that. Me particularly, what I used it for on this particular assignment, it was like, I need you to make sure everything really lines up to the truth of what I know, right? Because this is stuff that I lived through, but let's fact check it to make sure that I'm not missing small little things that might sound off alarms, just benignly me making a mistake, okay? And then the other thing that I used AI for in this particular assignment, like I told you, it is for an application for a really big opportunity, and you can do this too, especially if you're busy. Let AI hold all of the dates, all of the data, all of like the things that you don't need to constantly have in your head as you work line by line on the sentence, right? It's like a memory bank. And here's the other thing that I found, a memory bank that will actually sift through all of your data and find the stuff that is most relevant. Yo, if you're anything like me, your brain, like this here beautiful brain, she optimizes for all of the moments that were like, oh, things went off the track, right? And so there's so many moments, and also I've lived multiple chapters. If you're anything like me, girl, you have like not just 9 lives behind you, you have lifetimes behind you. Do you remember all of the data, like all of the details of those moments? I don't. And when I just freestyled in, using a voice note to record some of my story, AI was like, Claude was like, girl, like, You don't write that down. And that's really clutch. We need to put this in the application, right? And you have access to that by allowing Claude to be a memory bank for you, and also a memory bank that actually sifts through and finds the stuff that is most relevant to what you're talking about. Do you see what I'm talking about? Okay, so again, the fear that you have, it is legitimate. If all you do is just go to Claude and say, hey, I got this opportunity and I need XYZ, and give them all of the guidelines that you got, right, from the people who are running the opportunity. Let me tell you something, you're probably not even gonna get it. You're not going to sound like yourself. And that's another thing that is so important. Remember at the beginning when I said that AI, specifically Claude, is designed for smoothness, to make everything like butter. Well, your inconsistencies and your weirdness, the language that is specific only to you, that is the stuff that you can only get when you own the first draft. When you when you own the first draft, when you write it or say it out loud. And one of the other things I want you to do, and I did this like all day, every day, is call out the moments where you're using words and phrasings that a friend would recognize. Oh my God, Magogodi, she sounds that's exactly the kind of thing that you would say, right? And if you want your talk to land with people where it feels exactly like this, you and me, we're just two friends hanging out. That's all that's happening, right? And these words are literally coming out of my mouth. These are not words that were scripted. I'm not reading anything. I'm looking at you directly and I'm speaking to you. If you want to sound like that and not the super smooth, like you're kind of going for Oprah, but you're not really Oprah because she doesn't sound like that and she remembers to be a human being in front of the camera. If you want to sound like yourself, you need to tell Claude in the moments when you're editing and you're working through things, I need you to keep my language. I need you to keep my idiosyncrasies. I need you to keep my weird jokes that nobody's gonna laugh at, but they're really important, right? I need you to keep the stuff that a friend would hear this talk, would hear this script, whatever it is that you're working on, the essay, and recognize, oh yeah, she says this all of the time. We were just breakfast, we were just in Kiki mode, and this is exactly how she sounds. Obviously, context matters, so don't come at me with some silliness, okay? You need to make this relevant for whatever audience you're going to put it in front of, but we still want to sound like you. And the thing that is beautiful about Claude is once you make that clear, like, for me, I'll give you a specific example. I came up with, like the ending of this piece that was really clutch and it was on the money. And then the way that I ended it was, yes, please, more to all of that. And I submitted that, and Claude initially wanted to obviously extract that, so like take that last sentence out, especially the exclamation mark, and especially like even just the phrasing, or to make the phrasing sound a little bit more like polished English. And I was like, no, girl, we're not doing that, because that's the part that's the most like me. If you know me, yes, that's exactly the kind of thing that I would say, literally, if I got excited over an amazing new pair of shoes, okay? So we're keeping that sentence, and we're ending our entire essay, in my case, that I was working on that particular sentence. And it was like, Claude also is really good, again, the editor, at recognizing patterns and recognizing the moments where it's like, no, actually, this is better than the thing that was before. And this sounds more like you, okay? So what do we talk about today? We talked about how you're going to use AI to augment your thought leadership. So the next time you're standing up and getting ready to give a keynote speech, the next time you are asked to put together an essay that makes you stand out in front of, an applicant pool of maybe, 1,300 some people, you are actually going to use AI, but the way that you're going to use it is going to make you win, because you're going to start with you, and you're going to use AI not as a writer, but as a reader, as an editor, as a memory bank, as a fact checker. Do you get my drift? Do you understand where we're going? let me know in comments how you've been using AI. If this particular episode inspires you maybe to start playing around with AI, understanding that the integrity of what you have to say is not at stake. In fact, it's going to make it better, okay? We're going to actually level up. We're here to upgrade you. And if this is useful, I'm gonna ask you for something only you can do. No AI machine can do this for me. I need you to go to Apple Podcasts and rate this podcast. Give us a 5-star rating because girl, I just put you on game. And all I'm asking is please give us a 5-star rating. And when you're done, write a nice review that lets the people know why they should check out this podcast. This is Madam Speaker Says. I am your host, Magogodi. Next week, we're going to come back right here. I will meet you on Sunday with a guest in this chair. I hope that this was useful.
Real quick before you go, let me holler at you for a minute. Because if you were listening to this podcast and over again, you found yourself thinking, I know I belong at that level. And yet, there's still a gap between where you are right now and what you know you are capable of and how people perceive you. If that's true, right now, I need you to come with me all the way to the front. You, yes, I'm talking to you. The woman who changed history, they're not remembered for playing nice. The ones right now who are disrupting the shit strew that is happening in the public square, let me tell you something. They're not playing it safe. They're not giving their keynote in corporate speak or hiding behind a title or an organization. No, girl, you are going to be remembered for your courage to risk it all and say the whole truth, to speak your truth, your boldest and most urgent ideas, speaking those into existence. That is what we're going to remember you for, and that is what is necessary right now. Also, low-key, that is the power of the whole damn talk. What am I talking about? Listen to me. If a keynote masterclass walked into the room and it met Brene Brown's therapist with a side of Jay-Z's chutzpah, yeah. And also, she could help you say the thing that has been on your chest for years. She'd be the whole damn talk. You walk in with your strong conviction, but it's unspoken, and a rough outline, and you walk out with a talk that sells and sounds like you. A mic drop one-liner, and girl, a voice your ancestors are going to be doing praise dances to, okay? And we do it all in 3 hours. How? Listen, I'm glad you asked. The boss of my life is a little tank. He's 3 years old, and that basically means I don't have time to play silly games, okay? It also means that I have a cap on my availability. 5 seats each month. So if you're booked to keynote and you want one of those seats to work one-on-one with me, you need right now to head to madamspeakersays.com. It's madam with an E at the end of madamspeakersays.com. Go there, book a call to speak with me directly, because girl, we are so hungry for what you have to say, and your talk is waiting.